Welcome to Daytona Beach, Florida, home to America's premier muscle car showroom, Hankster's Hot Rods, where we own and house anywhere from 65 to 80 vehicles at any given time. If you are watching the vehicle we are about to present to you today on any other advertisement other than Hankster's website, which is hanksters.com, please be sure to visit our website so you can determine whether this is in fact a current vehicle that we have for sale. If you are watching this on YouTube, on classiccars.com, on Hemmings, this vehicle may no longer be available for sale. We own all of our cars, so you're dealing directly with the seller. There are no third parties involved. We are not a consignment dealership. We welcome all of you to visit Hankster's Hot Rods to look at the vehicle you might be purchasing. We encourage all of our buyers to come in person. Daytona Beach is a great tourist destination. There's a lot to do here. It's a fun 2-3 day trip, maybe even a week-long trip. Come check out our cars for yourself. Check out underneath. We'll take it on a test drive, have some fun. Hanksters.com, and if you want to reach us by phone, it's 386-944-9219. Enjoy today's presentation.
Okay, this is a very impressive engine bay of a 1968 Chevy Camaro. Kind of a really neat color. It's like a medium gray, like Porsche Meteor gray with a silver striping on it. Really nice color combination. But the engine compartment is phenomenal on this thing. It has a nice big huge aluminum radiator in it. Looks like at least a 3, maybe a 4-pass radiator. Correct hoses top and bottom. Donnie put a new battery in it here for you. The core support itself looks totally undisrupted and unmarked from any disruption through the years. This car does have power steering and it has power disc brakes on it. Dual stage master cylinder, you can see all the lines are new, and also the vacuum booster for the power brakes. In addition to that vacuum booster that runs off the engine, there's an auxiliary electric vacuum pump here to help with the vacuum of the brakes due to the camshaft that's in this thing. It's a little bit more of a radical cam, and you lose vacuum with a large overlap cam like that. It does have a set of polished aluminum aftermarket valve pan covers, really high-end covers on it. Polished aluminum tarantula style air gap intake manifold on it. It has a Holley, it's a dual feed. It does have an electric choke, and it has a vacuum secondary to it. Carburetor on it, but it is a Holley. It has a Holley 14-inch unsilenced air cleaner on it. Chrome alternator on this guy. Chrome pieces on the front of the motor. Nice big pulley wheel down there to keep the speeds of these belts down some for you. It does have a chrome power steering pump with a chrome belt drive on it, and it's just very well done. Everything on this car is really done to the nth degree. It has a set of long tube, high temp coated headers on it, a chrome dipstick. Not that that matters that much, but it is a little accent to the car. It has polished gloss inner fender panels. Usually these things are flat black. It adds a lot of pop to this car to see these things in polished gloss black on them. The heat is still hooked up and functional to the passenger compartment. It has an MSD ignition system in it with, it appears to be an HEI ignition distributor in it also. Braided steel lines for your lines going to the radiator from the transmission for cooling. It has a new chrome fuel pump on it also. I believe this engine is obviously it's a big block Chevy, and it's really difficult to tell the configuration. It could be a 396, a 454, a 402, a 468, 496. We really don't know. What we do know is what it started life at, and if you look in the spec sheet, Donnie's going to give you the specs of at least what this motor started life as. But again, you know, the internal components at this point after the rebuild, without pulling this motor down, we don't really have the absolute configuration of this cubic inch displacement wise. The cowl still houses its original cowl tag. Devin will give you a nice picture of it so that you can see it. The entire engine compartment is just as clean and fresh as you'd ever hope to find one. There's no leakage whatsoever evident on the valve pan covers, the intake manifold, timing chain cover, water pump, absolutely nothing. Car's not dripping anything at this time. But this it's just a great looking car. Fantastic looking engine compartment, very dramatic with the tall finned aluminum valve pan covers on it, and tons of Chevy horsepower under there. We're going to go around the rest and show you what we can. 1968 Camaro. This guy is really, really a dramatic looking car. Again, a medium gray color. It's not real dark charcoal, but yet it's not a lighter silver color. It's a, I call it Porsche gray. And silver stripes. You can see them, but you can't feel them. There's a lot of clear on this car. This paint job is not a driver quality paint job. Again, everyone perceives it to be something different, you know, whether it's driver quality, show quality, whatever. I'm not going to call it a show quality paint job, but it's certainly much above a driver quality paint job. You can see the fitment of the hood to the front fender, to the header panel, clean up to the panel in front of the windshield. Everything on this car lines up just as it should. And again, the paint is much above a driver quality paint job on the car. Front bumper has no scuffs or scratches or anything whatsoever on it. It has an aluminum, not plastic, aluminum RS style front grille in it. SS designation in the front, cowl induction hood on it. Very dramatic front end on this car. Nice spoiler underneath it. It's hard to see, but there are some parking lights in there. And it's just very, very well executed, very well done car. Everything lines up just the way it should. Going down the sides of it, the paint is just as it was on the hood and the tops of the fenders. Side marker lamps nice and bright and shiny, no patina whatsoever on them. Look at this fitment, look. Everything on this car fits just as it should. Camaro, SS designation. Wiper arms and blades, correct style for the year. Really look good. Top of the dashboard is really nice. There's no waves or warbles in it, and obviously no cracks evident. We'll get a better look once we're inside. VIN plate nice and clean and legible. There's no marks whatsoever even on the front windshield from the wiper scraping back and forth. It is a tinted windshield in the front. A really great looking car. The wheels on this car are very dramatic. They're a 17-inch style torque thrust wheel. They're polished aluminum. Disc brakes in the front, of course, but the 205s in the front. I think there's 245s in the back. I don't know exactly. Donnie will have the specs of the tire sizes on the description of the car for you. But again, look at this. Look at the way the door fits to the front fender and to the rear quarter panel. Look at this. I mean, you just don't get any better than that. Door handle, chrome is that deep on it. The top, the wipe and whiskers are nice and fresh and clean. Look at this. How this window fits. The front window fits to the quarter glass. No patina whatsoever here. The drip rail, normally there's a bunch of little marks in it from brooms falling against it through the years. Absolutely none. You got a rectangular driver's side mirror, which is correct for the year. The trim around the windshield, there's no marks whatsoever, absolutely none. The paint on this car is just exemplary, and you look inside the doors, it's the same thing as it is on the outside. Door jambs in the front are nice and clean. The door sills, you can see they're just as fresh and new as they were in 1968. Door panels are a full door panel in this guy with the correct molded style armrest, and your actuators are nice and thick chrome and nice. The door panels themselves have no deterioration whatsoever, absolutely none. Aftermarket billet steering wheel in it. Again, we'll get a better shot once we get inside the car, but it has bucket seats and a console. It has seat belts in the front, and it has seat belts in the rear also. We got a full complement of seat belts in this guy too for you. The rubbers are nice and fresh and resilient. Everything is just as fresh and clean on this car as it was when it was new. Really a nice car. Going back past the quarter panel here, trim around the back window the same as it was in the front. There's no marks or indentures whatsoever to it, no scuffs on the glass. There must be some kind of a high-end sound system in this thing because it has a huge set of speakers across the back of it here on the shelf, the hat rack, tray, whatever you want to call it. But really a nice looking set of speakers in the back. You look down the side of this car, it's just as sweet and clean as you'd ever hope to find one. The trim along the bottom, your rocker panel moldings are nice and fresh, and they line up just as they should. There's no marks on them from someone kicking them with their heels through the years. Spoiler in the back, because you have to have one here if you have one out front. Trim around this rear deck lid, you can see just as it was on the hood. It's just as fresh and nice as you'd ever hope to find. Again, look at the paint on this thing. I know I keep telling you look at it. You can't really see it in the video and even in the still pictures, but I'm telling you, this paint job is exemplary. It is certainly much above a driver quality paint job approaching that of a show quality, in my estimation anyway. Trunk, well, we're back to some kind of sound system again. You can see someone spent a lot of money on some kind of high-end sound system in this guy. Trunk is just as fresh and nice. Doesn't look like there's ever been any repairs to it. Quarter panel's the same way. Underneath the deck lid, where these things usually have a little deterioration, some rust or something, you can still feel the sharp edges of the panels on the back. Bezels around the lights, there's absolutely no deterioration, no patina whatsoever in them, absolutely none. Backup lights, nice and crystal clear. Tail lights, same way. Bumper in the back, just the same as it was in the front. It's just absolutely undisrupted. There's no marks, scuffs, scratches, anything whatsoever. And the alignment also is just spot on. Going down the passenger side of this guy, again, look at this. I keep showing things over and over, but I can't get over how well everything fits on this car. The same thing around the trim that goes around these windows. That's the reason there's always some little dents and marks in it. To try to get it to fit is near impossible sometimes. And this is so precise that I can't even get my fingernail around it. It just fits absolutely the way it should. Tinted glass on the other side over there, obviously tinted glass here. And again, look at this window fitment to the quarter glass. It doesn't get any better than that. It just doesn't. Again, look at this. Door the same way. The front's going to be the same. We'll get to that in a second here. Devin will show you the inside here. The door panel on this side, of course, is just the same as it was on the other side. Absolutely as it was new. You can see your sill moldings are just shiny and fresh as they were the day they were put on. Bucket seats, like I said, nice padding on them. There's no deterioration in the vinyl whatsoever. The carpeting is nice and fresh looking and black, obviously. Dashboard is nice. It looks like it has some kind of real dramatic radio in there. We'll have to get into that once we get inside of it, though. Again, door closes just like it should. The wiper whiskers. Right-hand mirror, great addition to have on these cars. And again, no marks on this sill molding either. There's absolutely no marks whatsoever. Absolutely none. Look, 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 look. Huh? Look. Totally amazing. Camaro SS designation. Again, our rocker panel molding, polished stainless, is just as fresh as could possibly be. There's no heel marks or dents whatsoever in it. And the paint on the side of this car is the same as it was on the other side. It is absolutely flawless. I don't see any dents, marks, scratches, marks, anything whatsoever. Side marker like the way it was on the other side. No patina whatsoever. This thing's a 68 Camaro. And we just went over it. You just watched us do it. It's certainly above a driver quality paint job on this car. And fitment-wise, cannot be any nicer than it is. Your gaps are exactly the way they should be. Your door closures are exactly like they should be. Trim around the front window to side windows. Everything fits absolutely as it should. And it's a 68 Camaro with a cowl induction hood and a big block Chevy and an automatic 400 transmission and 17-inch torque thrust wheels and a fantastic color combination. I mean, I go crazy over the color of this thing. It has a lot of pop to it with the silver stripes on this, like a charcoal gray main paint scheme on it. Tinted glass all around it, so it appears to be dark inside the car. RS nose on it, billet aluminum, and I don't know how much more you could ask for out of a car. This thing's one of the nicest 68 Camaros I can remember doing for a while now. It's a really dramatic car. It's down at Hankster's in Daytona Beach, and if you can, take a look at it. But if you can't come down to take a look at it, then if you can't, Devin's going to compile all this information that we're generating right now for you so that you can see us driving it, interior, undercarriage, presentation that we just did, everything that we can show you on this car so that you know exactly what you're buying here at Hankster's in Daytona Beach, Florida. This is a really nice car. We got a lot of nice cars, but this one's really exemplary for a 68 Camaro. Take a look at it. Okay, this is the underside of our charcoal gray and silver striped 1968 Camaro big block car. Really a great looking car. First thing you notice when you're underneath here that everything is just as fresh and clean as could be. Sway bar has all new bushings on it. A set of adjustable coil-over alloy shocks on the front of this guy. Look at that, real high-end pieces. Disc brakes in the front, nice fat calipers and rotors. The rotors are nice and thick. Calipers are great big huge fat calipers. The engine, you can see, has been out and completely refreshed. It's a new rebuild on a big block Chevy. We don't know the configuration yet, but Donnie will probably try to show that to you, at least what it originated as. The headers are, I'm going to call them like 1 7/8 inch. They might be a little bit bigger, but I'm calling them 1 7/8 inch set of headers. Turbo 400 tranny in it. The bell housing is open. Keep this, it's a smaller converter because of the cam it's in this guy, to keep the oil transmission fluid a little bit cooler. There is no shield on it. You could probably put one on, but I don't know how, because it has a gear reduction starter, a real high-end gear reduction starter on it. Subframes under this thing are just as fresh and clean as you'd ever hope to see on any car. There's no indentures, no indications of jack marks through the years. 3.5 inch collector going into a 3-inch primary pipe. And also, if you notice, this thing has solenoid type dumps on it, so that you can open this up and use it as an open header system if you want to irritate your neighbors or just do some racing on the weekend. The subframes, as you notice, go on, and this, I've never seen a set like this. It's really well engineered. A set of subframe connectors that go back and for about a foot connect onto the main floor structure before the rear subframes start again. Parking brake is hooked up and functional. Let's see. Fuel lines are the original ones from what I can see. They're still wire wound. The brake line is also an original. No, it is not. It has been replaced. The brake line on this side has been replaced. A set of under chassis mufflers. I think they're a turbo style muffler. Again, we got 3-inch pipes going into, I don't know, I'm going to call them 2.5 inch pipes into the mufflers. Subframes in the back are just as fresh and clean and nice as they were up front. It has a set of adjustable traction bars on it, multi-leaf rear suspension in this guy, staggered shocks. You'll notice the driver's side one has it in the rear, and the passenger side is up front, so it compensates for the torque bias that this guy will generate, and it's going to be a bunch. Again, the leaf springs have a nice curvature to them yet. The gas tank, I can't tell you if it's stainless. It has been replaced. It's either a new conventional tank, but it appears to be stainless steel. I'm not really sure though. Pipes coming out of the mufflers, I'm going to call them 2.5 inch. Nice fat set of exhaust going out the back. 12-bolt Chevy rear, and if you notice, it has, and I really like these covers because they offer a feature that the standard bolt tin cover doesn't. This thing gives it a lot of structural rigidity, but it also allows you to preload the bearing caps that are in that rear end on this 12-volt Chevy rear end to give it even more strength than it already has. Floor pans up above the differential are just as fresh and clean and new as they were when they left the factory in '68, and that's what you have here underneath too. I don't see any indication that anything on this floor structurally has been replaced. It's a really great looking car underneath. You can see it has a nice fresh round of rubber all around it. 12-bolt Chevy rear. No leaks at all at this point. You can see everything's just as fresh and clean as you'd ever hope to find on any muscle car today. X exhaust system too, I forgot to mention. This gives you a lot of additional flow through the exhaust, even though they are 3-inch pipes. Gives you a cross-sectional flow pattern to it. It really, really helps out the flow of the car, and it also helps quiet it down, believe it or not. It makes the car a little bit quieter instead of having a raspy sound to it. There is nothing underneath this car that I can call a negative to. Absolutely nothing. Again, you can see everything is the way it was when it was new structurally, with all the additional components put on for performance-oriented pieces. It's just a great, great car, nicely configured, and it's at Hanksters, so take a look at it. Okay, this is the control panel of our 1968 charcoal and silver Camaro, big block car. This guy's really special. Billet aluminum steering wheel, of course, smaller diameter, looks like about a 14-inch one instead of the 17 the factory ones were. Sounds like a Roadrunner horn, but we got one. Has a tachometer over here that you can see is functioning. It is functioning as it should. Left turn signal working as it should. The right turn signal doing its act over here. Jeff gave us a little under a quarter of a tank, but more than enough for us to get down the road and back. Wipers, let's see here, wipers, that lights up at work. wipers working as they should. Okay, there's a trio of auxiliary gauges here on the console, and oil pressure you can see is nice and high, functioning as it should. The water temperature coming up, we just started this thing here shortly, a little bit ago, and it's charging just like it should. This is a radio, and I have no idea how it functions. If you have any questions on this radio, don't call Al, call Devin, and he'll tell you everything about it. But it is an Alpine high-end radio with all the associated speakers and hardware that go with it. I guess it's pretty nice system. Fan for your heat is functioning as it should. So I guess we got everything we need. We're going to go for a ride, see what this guy runs like. Speedometer is functioning as it should. See, it's just as nice and steady as can be. Speaking of steady, look at this. Let's try brakes, no hands. Brakes, no hands. This car runs as straight and true as one that you'd ever hope to find. Really nice, well-balanced car. Even though it has a big block in front of it, you don't notice the weight of this guy. It just has a nice balance to it. Brakes work just as they should. With that additional vacuum booster that they have, you can put somebody through the windshield if you want. Just a nice car, very nice. We'll give it a little shot here so you can hear what it sounds like. That's 90. The car runs straight and true as can be. You know, it doesn't shake, shimmy, vibrate. Absolutely nothing. It goes straight as an arrow. And you can see and hear that it pulls as a big block Chevy should. I mean, it just goes down the road straight, obviously, and it pulls your head off whenever you get into it a little bit. That was from a second gear roll, and it just went up to 90 miles an hour that quick. So it's a nice running car. You know what? I just noticed the temperature gauge is not functioning. We have to get that to work for you. I don't know whether it's hooked up or it's just not functioning. We'll have to figure out why the temp gauge isn't working. But everything else in this car functions as it should. Everything. The DAC, the fans, everything. Horn. Roadrunner horn. Just a nice car. This thing is really nice. When we get back here, Devin and I are going to open up the exhaust for you. It has a neat little system. A couple of solenoids that open up so that you can hear that the car's going to run straight off its set of headers. Pretty much off its set. A little tiny bit's going to go into the exhaust system yet, but the majority will come through the straight through the dumps, the way they have it configured on the exhaust system. This is a really nice car. Take a look at it because it's an Angsters.